Hello and welcome to round 3 of the UCI Women's World Cup. We've moved to Belgium, to Oudenaarde, for the magnificent Ronde van Vlaanderen. I'm here with Rochelle Gilmore. Easter Sunday, the Easter bunnies are out and everyone's in a good mood.
Well, it's unusual to see the sun shining because this race is famous for the bad weather, and I think the riders will be extremely happy that the sun's out.
There on the top tube, some notes about the kilometres and the top of the climbs. But everyone is set for the Ronde van Vlaanderen. This is a race that everyone wants to win. Let's hear from the favourites.
Yeah, I'm excited. There's a winner in 2011, and to race here is always special. And if you're, you know how it's to get victory here, and yeah, I'm excited.
I feel well. I'm ready, and I've got a strong team behind me and with me, so wanna race.
Yeah, I think we are strong, but other teams are also strong, like Bulls and Wiggle. So yeah, for us the goal is to have more riders as possible in the front and try to do a team effort.
Nervous, excited. Yeah, just hoping that I have good legs, really. Got the best team behind me, and I've really worked hard for this race. I've tapered this week, so I'm as fresh as I can be, so feeling confident.
Well, it's one of the biggest surprises of today to see Emma Johansson here, because she broke a collarbone just 3 weeks ago. She's been a favourite in the past, but it's a very big victory just to be on the start line.
I'm not feeling bad or anything. When I crashed, I didn't think it was possible for me to be at the start here, but my recovery has been going really well, and yeah, I've been riding already. After a week I could be back on the road, and had some good trainings this week on the cobbles, and it feels okay. So of course I don't have the racing in the legs from last weekend like the others do, but I'm very excited. I love this race. It's my home area here in Belgium, and have a lot of friends and supporters here, so I will just enjoy the day to maximum. That's my goal for today.
Emma's hometown will be decked out in blue and yellow as we go through Zingham. Here's the standings. Lizzie Armistead leading 160 points. Jolien D'hoore and Ellen van Dijk tied on 120.
At the sign on here, there's a lot of nervous riders. And here's Laura Trott. She won't be nervous today because this is a new thing for her, to be riding a World Cup in the British National Champions jersey for the Matrix Fitness team.
Looks a little bit chilly, but there's last year's winner, Ellen van Dijk. All smiles for her. Will she be doing a team job today? Emma Johansson with the rest of the Orica AIS team as they get ready for racing.
Nothing like a little bit of pressure for Iris Schleppendal. Here's Lisa Brennauer with Ina Yoko Teutenberg, one of the big stars of the past.
Elena Cecchini there in the Italian colours, and here's Jolien D'hoore. What a proud moment for her in the Belgian champions colours.
There's been a lot of attention around Jolien D'hoore leading into this race, but here's the world champion, Pauline Ferrand-Prévot. She was second in last week's Tutilio World Cup.
A little bit chilly, but the bells are tolling in the background. We're getting close now to the start of this race, as we see the peloton all lined up and leading out with Lizzie Armistead, the World Cup leader in the white jersey, right at the front.
These crowds are unbelievable. You can hear the roar of the crowd just going off the start line. This will be a bit of an experience for a lot of women in this peloton, having such huge crowds and the noise rolling off the start line.
There's Iris Schleppendal, the Dutch champion on the right-hand side, the Swedish champion Johansson, the Belgian champion D'hoore. And a problem here for Kirsten Wild at the back. Looks like she is going to have mechanical assistance even in a neutralised section.
She looks quite relaxed. It's a long race here for the women at Tour of Flanders today, so she's quite relaxed in the neutral. This is the start. See, Orica AIS, they've got a lot of pressure on them because Emma Johansson's not in fine form after breaking the collarbone just 3 weeks ago. So it'll be interesting to see if they actually ride for Emma today or whether they try a different tactic.
So through the hometown of Emma Johansson, through Zingham, everyone, as we said before, decking it out with the blue and yellow balloons and all the bunting as well. 145 kilometres today these riders face, 10 helling along the way, and they're pretty tough. 5 cobbled sections, that's the menu for the Tour of Flanders. It's going to be a brave winner who crosses the line at the end of today. Onto the Wolvenberg then, with 96 kilometres of racing remaining. This is the first climb of the Tour of Flanders, and we can already see Boels Dolmans there, Wiggle Honda at the front. Oh, and a problem here for Lizzie Armistead.
Looks like she's had a puncture. The mechanic there changing the rear wheel, but that's true professionalism from Lizzie. You can see how relaxed she was, letting him change the wheel. She was on the radio to tell her teammates they've got communication, that I've punctured, and it looks like they've just moved to the front there to control it while she does the chase to get back on.
So Lizzie Armistead is in the race convoy. There she is, as she has got to be a little bit careful on the first climb of the day. You don't want to be zooming back up a climb and putting yourself into the red at the top, so you suffer on the next climb as well. So it's got to be relaxed and come back nice and steady.
Well, I think if anybody can stay relaxed, it is Lizzie Armistead. She's a very confident type of rider, and we can see there was no panic there. But will that take the toll towards the end of the race? Because it's a very, very long race, and any extra work you have to do could cost you in the finish.
This is the first stretch of cobbles. It's the Rutterstraat, and still Lizzie Armistead on the back of the Wiggle Honda car is not in the race yet.
Well, she's just about to hit the cobbles by herself, so she may be thinking this is a little bit tougher than I thought it would be. It's a different kind of tactic from riders, whether they go explosive to get back on or they just take their time. It looks like Lizzie's taking her time, but you can see her team is on the front right now, controlling, knowing that she's making her way back to the peloton.
But it's not easy at the back here. On the cobbles already, riders losing wheels. But the peloton all now back together, nice and compact. Boels Dolmans on the front, so a Bigler well represented, Orica AIS. And a few riders just losing wheels and suffering at the back of this race.
Well, it's interesting to see that it's split already. That's Laura Trott. So she's having a little bit of a rough time out there. It's not an easy race, Tour of Flanders, and we know that road is not her thing. But here we see them on the second climb of the day. And that's Chloe Hosking on the left of your screen there from Wiggle Honda, just trying to control for the likes of Bonzini, D'hoore and Longo Borghini.
This is the climb of the Molenberg. And Chloe Hosking, who is known as a top sprinter, is setting a very, very good tempo there on the right-hand side. Elisa Longo Borghini sitting alongside her. You can see the surface here, Rochelle. It's really tough, isn't it? These riders making it look easy.
Well, you saw some really rough cobbles and some smooth sections, and I can tell you the serious contenders of today's race have been over every single inch of these cobble sections to know whether they want to be on the right or the left. You can see the riders at the back, they're switching their lines to look for the easiest, smoothest part of the road. But these riders like Lizzie Armistead on the front now, they know every single inch of these cobbles, which side of the road to be on, what gear to be in, and that's the art of winning this type of race, is knowing every inch of the road.
Lizzie Armistead, who was second in the Tour of Flanders last year, was Ellen van Dijk in very different weather conditions, who time trialled to victory. Armistead took second, Emma Johansson took third place. As we head on now to hill number 6, this is the Kapperij, and an attack at the front now.
That's Annemiek van Vleuten of the Bigler team. She's really having a go. She'll be having a little bit of extra added confidence because she has won this race before. Now she's getting into a rhythm, so she's decided, yeah, I'm going to go for this. And there has been riders that have won from this far out from the finish.
Well, she's into time trial mode. 20 seconds is her advantage as she just tries to nip away from the front of this peloton. And at the back, notably, is Antoshina. Now, she finished second to Van Vleuten in 2011. So whilst one of them's off the front, the other one's going back on bottle duty.
A little bit of a sticky bottle there, but Van Vleuten, she's getting caught now by a Velocio SRAM rider. That looks like Canuel.
Onto the Canaryberg, my most loved climb of any named climb in the world. And Van Vleuten is about to be caught, and the pressure is really on.
Well, that was a great move from the Bigler team because Ashley Moolman, she's back in the peloton and she's quite a handy rider as well. So it was great to see Van Vleuten just gave 100% laid on the line. It may have worked, but she had Ashley Moolman back in the peloton.
Well, the rider now who's in trouble, wearing number 51, is Iris Schleppendel. She doesn't like this climb at all, so the legs have given out. Meanwhile, look at this. An attack from the Italian rider, Elisa Longo Borghini of Wiggle Honda.
Well, she's got a gap, Anthony, and this is one rider that you'd probably have on your list that you would not let get a gap at this point in the bike race.
She's a very, very good time trialist. She's sitting right in the middle of the road there, picking her line. She finished third in the Flèche Wallonne last season, of course. and she doesn't mind the climbs at all. So Elisa Longo Borghini just moving away.
There was a little bit of talk earlier in the week about their recon ride that they had on the Wednesday, that she was extremely strong and looking like she was going to be in top form. She was trying to peak for the Citilio World Cup, being a home World Cup, but she didn't quite reach her form there because she fell ill the week before, but it looks like she's on today.
35 seconds now is her advantage as she bumps across these cobbles. You can see every now and then she's pushed out of the saddle. And just looking at the back of this group, a few riders still suffering as we make our way up this climb. But they're going to have to react now to Elisa Longo Borghini. She's a rider who has been promising a lot over the last couple of years, and she is giving this full throttle as she goes uphill and gets now onto the smoother road, but it continues for a little bit before she can start to descend. Looks around to see what the gap is.
She doesn't look like she's tiring yet, so it's going to be interesting to see which teams take up the chase here. It could be Bowles. We see an Orica AIS rider there, Valentina Scandalara. She's doing it a little bit tough at the back on the cobbles, but it'll be interesting to see which teams it is that take up the chase, because Elisa is not tiring.
She certainly isn't. Well, the Bowles-Dolmans team will certainly have to chase. Longo Borghini on the attack, going solo. Her teammate Jolien D'hoore in the peloton. Let's hear about her now.
I'm Jolien, 25 years of age. I'm the Belgian champion on the track and the road. Before that I was just a student physiotherapy, but now I'm a professional cyclist, and my ultimate goal is the gold in Rio at the Omnium on the track. A lot of my uncles are cyclists, so when I was young, when I was 12 years, I got a bike and I started cycling. When I have some spare time, I go out with my friends, just have a good dinner and have a good time. Yeah, my life has changed a lot. It's a lot of media, but it's good for women's cycling, so it really helps us. It's getting better and better every year. We're getting more media coverage, more stuff on Twitter and social media. So it's getting better, but we still have a long way to go compared to the men. I can say I've progressed significantly. This year I made a step forward thanks to my teammates, thanks to the team and a professional environment. I've never had the help like last year in the races from someone, and now I have a whole team around me, and that's a big difference. If you're individual in the final and you don't have any teammates around you, it's hard to win a race. You really need a team right now, and you need your strong teammates to win a big race. After World Championships, it's the most important race to me. It's on my home roads. It's the race I love the most. It's very prestigious in Belgium and far beyond, so I'm really looking forward to race it. I'm really going good on the cobbles, and some other riders who aren't used to it struggle sometimes on it, and that's helpful for me. The two teams, Rabobank and Bowles, they're going really strong with Lizzie and Elle van Dijk. Also Anna van der Breggen is really strong. We have Elisa Longo Borghini, who is really strong. Also Giorgia Bronzini is getting better and better. So we have a really strong team, and I hope we can beat them.
"23 kilometres now remaining in this World Cup. On the horizon, the Haute-Quaramont and the Paterberg. That's the final two climbs of the day. Two groups on the road here. Elisa Longo Borghini still solo.
We can see it's a team of Lizzie Armitstead there on the front, and the Rabo Liv team as well. They've got Pauline van Prevost and Anna van der Breggen still in this group. You can just see through there Jolien D'hoore. She's been able to hang on to this point and wiggle Honda up the road, so they're looking like they're in a very strong position.
Well, I just noticed Lizzie Armitstead talking into her radio again, asking maybe for a little bit of help and advice. because you're right, Rochelle, they don't want to tow Jolien D'hoore to the finish. She, of course, won the first round at Drenthe, where she beat Amy Peters and Ellen van Dijk. There's the world champion. And at the front now, Boels Dolmans. Lots of conversations going on. Wearing number 1, Ellen van Dijk, talking to her teammates, and now they've got to decide what to do.
Well, they look like they're in a little bit of a panic, because the closer they get to the finish and Elisa Longo Borghini holds this gap, it's a very, very dangerous move, especially when Jolien D'hoore is just sitting there, because she has proved that she's one of the fastest, and a lot of riders were mentioning her before the race today.
Through Breggen, and next on the horizon is Quaramont before we hit the base of the climb. But as we now join Elisa Longo Borghini, the rider from Varese, she is on the climb already. Magnificent to see so many people by the roadside, and Borghini sitting in the saddle using her pure power.
Well, this will be the test of how much power there actually is in those legs, because Anthony, I rode this just yesterday, and it's a very, very long cobbled climb.
It is the climb, the focal point of the Tour of Flanders for both the women and for the men, as Longo Borghini goes through this wall of sound, making her way to the top of the climb. She must be really boosted by the crowd cheering her on.
She looks like she's really in the zone there. She's starting to hurt a little bit, so if the bunch is coming, they're going to close in pretty quick if she doesn't hold her pace. But she looks like she's in a bit of a rhythm there, so we'll see in a minute how hard the bunch are working on the front. But this is the moment they've got to go.
And this is the moment now where we see Lizzie Armistead there in the white leader's jersey, followed by Elena Amalusic, the Belarusian, and Jolien D'hoore now is being distanced by the front of the race, and that's bad news for Wiggle Honda. She has to stay there.
She absolutely has to close that gap to put Wiggle Honda back in the game, because if Elisa Longo Borghini gets caught, it's all over for that team today. But Lizzie Armistead, she's taking up a lot of the work here.
She certainly is. So the gap back now to the Bigler rider and Jolien D'hoore. Another gap back to Emma Johansson. That's an impressive performance from her, the Swedish champion. But notably, Boels Dolmans, the rest of their riders being distanced by the effort of Lizzie Armistead, as Borghini now is almost at the top of the Ode Quaramont, picking her line left and right and going the best possible way to the top.
Well, she has said in her preparation, if she can get over the Quaramont with 30 or 40 seconds, that she's very, very confident that Patersburg is a climb that she really likes. She's a powerful type of rider. And we see there a teammate, Chloe Hosking, who did a lot of work in the start of the early parts of this race.
Downhill now for Elisa Longo Borghini, putting it into her top gear and just spinning the pedals over, just trying to relax a little bit. Emma Johansson, just bear in mind, this rider broke her collarbone 3 weeks ago, and she's back here in the race that she loves. A group now forming behind as we catch a glimpse of Longo Borghini still going fast downhill.
Well, it's all playing into her hands at the moment. The gap is stabilising, so one more climb to go, and if she gets over this climb, it's going to be very difficult for them to chase her back. But we saw Lizzie Armistead having to take up a lot of work herself. No more teammates left over the Quaramont, so it'll be interesting now to see how much collaboration there is in that group behind to bring this back.
Longo Borghini will crest the top of the Paterberg, the 10th climb of the day, with 13.3 kilometres to go to the finish. Everyone cheering her on. This rider, who was 8th in the World Cup last year, she's won the Tour de Bretagne and the Trophée d'Or, but now Boels Dolmans and also Lotto Soudal, Elena Cecchini, the Italian champion, doing a magnificent ride today.
Absolutely. She was the star of the World Cup Young Riders jersey last year, and she's had a fantastic effort today to still be in there. So her level is really lifted. We can see here Jolien D'hoore, she's struggling on the back. She's the key for Wiggle Honda, because if Elisa gets caught, she needs to be there for the sprint. But this is where all the other riders will want to put distance between that chasing group and Jolien D'hoore.
There now are the two riders who we often see side by side on the climbs. Pauline from Prevot takes a glimpse across at Lizzie Armistead. A gap back to Jolien D'hoore. Behind Jolien D'hoore, Elena Amalusic. Over the top of the Paterberg now. And the World Cup winner of last year and the leader, Armistead, followed by Ferran Prevot. But this rider is on a mission. Elisa Longo Borghini churning a massive gear, and she's into time trial mode.
She's thrown off both of her bottles, so she really means business now. Look, here's the bunch chasing group. No Jolien D'hoore, so it's all up to Elisa out there by herself. But Lizzie Armistead taking things into her own hands.
So she launches a massive attack, immediate counter-attack by Pauline Ferrand-Prévot. She looks around for a little bit of help. Anna van der Breggen is still in there. Meanwhile, we go back to Elisa Longo Borghini. Just looking at the style here on the bike, and notably, it's a little bit old school. No deep section wheels at all on this Colnago machine. How often have we seen Colnagos on the cobbles riding to possible victories?
We've just seen there on the blackboard, it's still 1 minute, and this group's got 2 Rabo Livs and 2 Biglers, so Lizzie Armitstead's outnumbered. We see just behind another group coming back now. That could be the group with Jolien D'hoore.
So 45 seconds now. Under the red kite goes Elisa Longo Borghini. She is heading towards a win in a World Cup. Behind her, Jolien D'hoore now has found her way back into the group. Meanwhile, teammates of Lizzie Armitstead, having done their work, they're finding this too much, the pressure on in the chase, but Longo Borghini's heading up the finishing straight.
She's been moving like a motorbike, and she would have pictured this victory in her mind many, many times in the last 24 hours.
Well, what a way to win a bike race, and what a way to win the Tour of Flanders. Soloing to victory over the last 30 kilometres. She looks around, all she can see is her team car and the rest of the following cars that have been company for this escapade. Elisa Longo Borghini sits up. She wins the Tour of Flanders. The emotion now overcoming her. She is the victor.
Fantastic ride. She said on Wednesday that she felt good. Like we said, she wanted to win this Tour of Flanders. She had a 4th place in Chitilio. Here's the bunch sprint now for 2nd place. Her teammate Jolien D'hoore made it back to this bunch. She's had a very, very tough race, but Lizzie Armitstead, she'll also, you always see a touch of the shoulders there.
Here we go now as we head for the sprint. Oh, Lizzie Armitstead, I don't know what happened there, but here we go, heading towards the finish line. Armitstead is out of this one. She's now sprinting again, but Jolien D'hoore of Wiggle Honda, the Belgian champion, looks like she's going to give them a 1-2. What a stunning day for the riders in black. Wiggle Honda take 1-2 in the Tour of Flanders.
She can't believe it. She's had the ride of her life today. She knew she could do it, but this early in her career, she's got a long way to go. But Tour of Flanders, she's won the Chitilio World Cup as well. She's very, very emotional.
Tears of joy then for Elisa Longo Borghini. She wins 43 seconds ahead of her teammate Jolien D'hoore and Anna van der Breggen in 3rd place. In the top 20, Emma Johansson, 13th place. A tremendous ride by her after breaking her collarbone, but the day belongs to Wiggle Honda.
Oh my God! You won it!
Yesterday, Audrey Cordon got sick, and we as team promised her to win the race. And today I was talking to Georgia, and she said, "Elisa, you think too much. You are a person that thinks too much. Just follow your instinct." And after Canariberg, I felt like going, and I went, and I pushed until the end.
But it was a long, long solo. Was there any moment that you thought, I'm going to take this?
From the first moment when I attacked, I said, I want to win, and I will win. But I thought on Quaremont that maybe they would have catch me, but I was sure that Jolien would have been there, so I was confident, and I really wanted to win, and I'm hungry. I just want to win races. I'm an athlete.
Well, this athlete's just won the biggest race of her career, flanked by Jolien D'hoore and Anna van der Breggen.
Elisa deserved it so much. She was super strong. She said to me during the race, I'm feeling really, really good, and we had full confidence in her, and she went very early, so I was doubting a little bit for if she could hold it to the finish, but she was super strong today, and I died like 100 times in the second group, and I just could get on, and with my fast legs, and I got second, so I'm super happy.
Jolien D'hoore takes over as the World Cup leader, but it could have been very different if it hadn't been for this.
Oh, she's just clipped the side of Ashley Moolman, and it's cost her the World Cup jersey, but she's done well to hold it up.
Here's the standings then after round 3. Jolien D'hoore now leads with 220 points. Lizzie Armistead in second with 195. And today's winner, Longo Borghini, in third. Here she is then in the white World Cup leaders jersey. All smiles in Belgium for Jolien D'hoore.
Rosella Rato, she's finished 25th today to hold on to the young riders jersey. A fantastic start to the season.
And so to the Suffer Prize, presented by the Suffer Fest, awarded today to Annemiek van Vleuten for her exploits out on the course, the solo attack, and eventually finishing 4th.
Thank you, but normally I'm always backwards under my bike was on the Canarieberg. They caught me and I was already in front, and I was really suffering there to hang on because they came over me. I wanted to go on the top alone, but they were already a little bit more early, so I was like that, but I could hang on. So
there's going to be more suffering in the Flesh on the next round. Rochelle and I will see you then. Bye for now.